Hello and welcome to another video, and today obviously you can see we are here for another league race video and we're here for round 8 of RRL at Assen. So apologies for missing the last episode. Basically I didn't know that we were racing that week, so I hadn't seen the messages in the chat, so I just accidentally missed the race on that one, so that's my bad. But we are here now at nearly said Austin then. We're here at Assen, which hopefully should be a good track for me. Apparently Glenn and Chris is broadcasting, so I had forgot to turn my notifications off for this race, but I think that was the only disturbance throughout the recording, which is good. Been to Strubben now. Oh, we almost lost the front there. We're on really wide. Out of Strubben we go. Trying to get the bike straightened up as much as we can. Obviously, I did know this track pretty well. See if you remember back to race against Pole. I uploaded like a really edited video, but I think it took me about 40 minutes to split the lap time there, so I've done quite a bit more time trial than I have at a lot of the tracks. Through the Ruskin hook there. Flicking the bike over. Obviously we're only going grey in the second sector there, obviously because we made a big mistake in a couple of sections there, probably notably being Strubben. But as we go down towards the bolt now, hitting the brakes, really beautiful line through there. That's probably about one of the best times I've hit the apex through there. And then through the next corner, the Mandavine, run a little bit wide. We're going to try and carry the speed on the curb, a little bit better wheel speed. You can see the rear tyres crying a little bit, 135 degrees through the Duca Sloot. And then coming through this right-hander now, I don't know the name of it, it's that one, I'm not going to try and pronounce that. But we're coming up towards the end of the third sector now. We're now purple, not purple, we're now orange again. 1.8 seconds off pole. Obviously Jack is currently on pole. As we come down towards the Gert Timmer chicane, now hitting the brakes. Clipping the first part, back on the power, clipping the second part, right out to the edge of the curb there. Well, right to the edge of the track, not quite onto the curb, but 31.3, yes, 31.5, sorry, I've messed up this commentary on this lap awfully. But in the end, that wasn't quite good enough for the top page, but it was 10th position. So we got Jack on pole, Dibby in second, Cringy in third, Mikey in fourth, Tommy D in fifth, Gidsy sixth at his home race, 7th for Neil, 8th for Sinister Hybrid, who's I think he's a new guy in the league, 9th for Snooker Greg, obviously myself, like I said, in 10th. And then we've got a good half second back to Dixon. But if you look at the pack, we're all really close up to 7th place, really, only 2/10ths in it. We're on the grid now. Jack, once again on pole, obviously, as I said. He is really romping away with this championship. Will anyone be able to stop him at this one? I think he lost at the last one in Catalonia. I think he got knocked off. I'm not 100% sure on that one. The lights are on now. We're waiting for the lights to go out to start this Dutch TT. Lights out and away we go. That Suzuki's had a terrible start up to 9th. Back down to 10th because Dixon's had a good start. But now we're back up into 8th place. So it's actually not been a bad start as we go down towards the first corner. Hitting the brakes. See Snooker Greg. Oh, a bit of contact with Greg there. We've got a bit wide. I think that's Jack's been set up there on the outside. Round the outside of Greg. Round the outside of the other one, other Suzuki, Tommy D, by Neil now in 6th position. On the inside goes Tommy D. Oh, a bit of contact between us. There's a bit of a laggy contact there. Snooker Greg just in front of us. Greg's down and we're down as well. We've been took out. I think Tommy D's been collected. Tommy D has been collected. So that is a crash. And we've not even done a whole sector of the track yet. Not good indeed. Oh, a bit of contact with Greg there as he tries to come up the inside through Strubben. Down the straight, but now we're cutting later onto the lap. We've ran a bit wide to the Mandavine. And that's going out. Greg through. Greg up the inside. Oh, and Tommy D's trying to force it up the inside as well. Tommy D through. So we're down to 11th position at the end of the first lap. We're trying to go around the outside of Tommy D. Tommy D, bit of contact with him there. He's really well. That was a brave move through turn 12. Got to give him that one. So we're down into last position now. Not good, but hopefully if they battle, maybe we can have a look at trying to get back through. But it is only the first lap, so it's not the end of the race, of course. We actually had a pretty good start. Snooker Greg's gone a bit wide there, but Tommy D wasn't able to capitalise. Oh, he's put onto the green there, but I think a few people going onto the green, you're getting penalties for it pretty fairly, so getting away with it. But we're cutting onto lap 2. Obviously, Dixon's had a crash there through Strubben, so I think that's probably what this highlight is showing. So up into 10th position now, and Greg has actually dropped behind Tommy D now as we go towards the Gert Timmer chicane at the end of lap 2. Greg is in massively hot there. He's going to come back over as we cut the chicane a little bit there. Now I cut the chicane just to make sure I didn't hit him. I know obviously I shouldn't have cut it that much, but I just wanted to play it safe. We've got a 2/10th penalty. I think that's very fair for what happened there. And we've got to carry on our way. And now Sinister Hybrid is the next target in front of us. So Tommy D is actually making his way through the pack pretty quickly there. It's Hybrid a bit wide. We're a bit wide through Ossenbrock. Oh, almost a high side there. Crash with VSR Mikey as well there in front of us. I think he's just getting back on after Strubben there. I think he had oh, Tommy D out the seat and he's gone. He's absolutely gone off the circuit. So now up into 8th place. Hybrid is next. So we're going down towards probably one of the most scary corners on the calendar. Don't actually know the name of it, but Zavine Slang, that's the name of it. We're closing right to the back. Oh, even closer. Oh, contact with Sinister Hybrid there. So Hybrid going a bit slow in the middle of the corner. I was debating whether to say mid-corner or middle of the corner, but we're getting a good run now to the left-hand side. Passing before we even get to the bolt there, up into 7th place. We've got some pretty good pace. Neil is up next, and considering we've had a crash, we're doing pretty well. But it's about to start lap 5 then. We're 1.1 seconds behind Neil in front of us, and I really want to try and catch him as much as we can. Cutting on to the end of lap 4 now through the Ram's Hook, down towards the chicane. You can see, oh, I think that's Tommy D trying to go on the outside there. Out of the last corner there. Oh, whoa, that was a big crash there. I think that was Dixon and Tommy D. Also, you see Tommy D, it came up on the right-hand side, sorry, that he'd fallen off. We look behind and a massive crash between the two of them. But now we cut, well, about halfway through lap 5, I suppose it's towards the end. The crash for Dibby up ahead. And you can see that's him there, just getting back on. He's just in front of Neil. Bit of a corner cut there for myself. There he is, coming back onto the track. Came back onto the track safely. We've got a massive amount more speed than him. Up the inside of Dibby we go. But he's probably able to come back at the Ram's Hook. Yes, he is. Side by side. Down towards the Gert Timmer chicane there. He's going to outbrake us a bit, but he's going in a bit hot. He's probably not able to do it. Yes, he backs out of the move there, so we get the position. We're now up to 6th place, and we've closed a massive amount up to Neil as well in that sort of incident. I think Neil broke a bit early for the chicane, and we've made massive amounts of time up to him. We're only about half a second behind now. Wow, we're definitely not half a second now. We're within striking range at this point. A crash ahead for Dixon. Oh no, so it's behind then. A crash for Dixon behind. And we're all over the back of Neil now. We're looking to try and get up the inside wherever we can. Maybe Strubben. I know he goes a little bit wider than us in Strubben. And yes, he's got wide once again. Up the inside we go through Strubben. Oh, bit of contact there. He's trying to get the power down. He's on the right hand side. I'm on the left as we go down towards the Veen Slang. He's pushing me onto the curb. He's really trying to push me to the left hand side. He's pushed me onto the grass. Onto the grass, almost a crash there. Unbelievable. Pretty dirty riding there from Neil, to be honest, putting me on the grass. I'm not gonna lie. At this point, the red mist had come down a little bit after that, because that could have been a massive crash there. So we've got an amazing run on him towards the bolt there. Moved over on him a little bit there, and then he crashed. So I think what happened was he overreacted to my little move over on him, and I think he just broke on the grass and fell off. But I've absolutely messaged Kane up there. Dibby's all over the back of us now as we're about to start lap 8. Oh, no, sorry, lap 7. I forget that the lap is for the leader, not yourself. So if you're obviously not in first, it's not quite right. Through the Veen Slang and through the Ruskin Hook. We've gone a little bit wide to the Ruskin Hook, but nothing too major there. Breaking into the second while. And up the inside comes Dibby. Dibby, that's a pretty aggressive, but a pretty good move nonetheless for Dibby there. Back up into 5th place. Fair play to him. I mean, at the time, I think I was a little bit annoyed by it, but actually, it's a pretty brave move to, stick it at the inside there. So obviously, there's going to be a bit of contact. And you know what? We didn't go off the track, so you can't complain too much. He didn't put me on the grass like Neil did, so it was a cleaner move than that. But yeah, we've got to try and attack Dibby. Can't let him get away. Obviously, I really want to get a top 5 because I've not had a good result for quite a while in this league. If you've been watching the races, obviously Le Mans was dreadful. Magello, oh, but Dibby's gone wide. Dibby's almost crashed. I don't know if he's stayed on the bike there. But we're back up into 5th place. He's gone flying off the track. Now he's crashed. So now up ahead is the battle for the podium. But we are, oh, okay, bit of a corner cut there. I completely messed up that chicane and got a penalty, which again I think is fair. Although I'm not really sure why I messed up that badly. I think maybe I was just thinking about the fact that I was in P5 or something. But once again, we cut the corner. We messed it up a bit, and we absolutely messed it up. I thought that was a dreadful chicane. I just thought I'd show it to show where I got the rest of the penalty on. But we're on the penultimate lap now. And the two in front are absolutely going out of VSR Mikey. So we cut through the Veen Slang on the penultimate lap. Both of them going to the gravel. One of them's down. I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's VSR Mikey's binned it. And now Gidsy in third, right in front of us. Well, 0.8 of a second in front of us was VSR Mikey when he was in the gravel. I think a little bit further in front there for Gidsy, but we've got 1 lap to go. I know I've got a bit of a penalty, but I was going to go for this. It's a 3rd place. I've never had a 3rd place in RRL, would you believe? Or a 2nd or a 1st. I've never had a podium at all, and other than the last season, I've competed in every single one since Motogp 15, so it's been a long time coming if we can get this off Gidsy here. So I think I'm going to show the entire of the final lap, I think is why I decided to do in editing. I'm recording it like a day after I edited it, so I don't remember why I did. We're 9/10 behind, so not quite a second behind. Into the Gert Timmer chicane, we're making up a little bit of distance. He's gone a little wide, that could cost him a bit on the exit. But actually he's had a pretty good exit in his defence. He only went a tiny bit wide, he probably squared it off pretty well. But as we go down towards the first corner on the final lap, hitting the brakes. Into turn 1 we go. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that one. But actually a pretty good line for myself there, right to the edge of the curb, cutting right to the edge again. Through turn 2, we're gaining time through Ossenbrocken there. Holding it right round through turn 4. flicking over for Strubben, into Strubben, and Gidsy's down! Gidsy's lost the front, he's down! That's up into 3rd position. 3rd place here in the Dutch TT. Somehow, from basically the back of the grid into the last corner we come now, we're going to get 3rd position after being 11th at the end of the first lap. I could be pretty proud with that one. Compared to our recent performances, that is exactly what we needed. So in the end then, Cringy won the race, Jack in 2nd, myself in 3rd, VSR Mikey ended up 4th, Tommy D 5th, fortunately for Gidsy, he dropped down to 6th after that, so a bit bad for him, but Sinister Hybrid in 7th place, Dixon in 8th, Dibby in 9th, so Neil in 10th, and Snooker Greg in 11th position. So that's how the race ended up. In terms of the championship now though, we've got obviously Jack still leading the championship by actually not quite as many points as I thought he was. I thought he was a bit further in front, but still 38 points is a massive margin, don't get me wrong, but I thought he was 50 points in front, something like that. But he's 58 points in front of Dibby in 3rd place there. Tommy D, I think he might, no, I think he was only in 4th actually. Not 100% sure because it has been a while since I looked at the championship standings, so I'll just read off the names, I won't comment if they've moved up, but he's gone up into triple digits there, so with 100 points in 4th place. VSR Mikey in 5th with 91. Snooker Greg, who, I don't know if I said it, but I'm kind of setting him as my target. We're actually doing a pretty good job of that. We're only 7 points behind him now, which is obviously over the rest of the season pretty achievable, so hopefully we can try and move ahead of Greg at some point. But Snooker Greg in 6th place there. 7th for Neil, obviously 1 point behind Greg, so those two are pretty close. Obviously me and Neil had a little bit where he put me on the grass. I mean, the rear end one on the grass, I don't know how it didn't crash. I'm still perplexed by that now. I'm just looking at the physics kind of save you once you let off the throttle. But yeah, myself in 8th there, Demons in 9th, obviously no longer racing in the championship, so we've moved ahead of him for the rest of the series. Stealing set in 10th place, Gidsy moving up to 11th, obviously unfortunate for him to lose the podium on the last lap, but I think he probably crashed, maybe he got really worn tyres. I don't know why they both ran through the gravel, because I thought at the time that they collided, but obviously I've seen the footage back quite a few times at this point, and they didn't, they just both made the same mistake and just both ran into the gravel, which is really weird. Perhaps Gidsy made the mistake because I think he was in front of Mikey, and then Mikey was just using him as sort of a reference for the braking and the turning and just followed him in. But Dixon up to 12th, well actually is he up to 12th? Like I said, I don't know if people moved up, but Dixon into 12th place there. Sacred Meerkat in 13th, so he's no longer racing as well. Stick Vortex in 14th place, 15th for F1 Fan, 16th for obviously Sinister Hybrid with his first race, and unfortunately Dylan in 17th, obviously he's no longer racing. He only finished he didn't actually finish any race, unfortunately. He was in the lead at Qatar, but obviously disconnected, if you remember. Well, actually, his game crashed about 20 seconds before I disconnected from the lobby, which is unfortunate for him, because I think if he hadn't have had those issues, he would still be in the league, and he'd probably be giving Jack a good run for his money, because I think they're quite similar in terms of the ability. But, yeah, you know, that's all credit to Jack, though, still. He's riding fantastically. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed this one. It was a pretty good race. Lots of things to shout about there. Obviously, a little bit of controversy as well. Kind of, but I don't know what I was doing at the last chicane those 2 times where I just absolutely cut it. I think what I've done is I've just messed up the turn and just thought I'll take the penalty rather than risk crashing. Which sometimes but you shouldn't really do that. But sometimes that's what I end up taking, and I got penalised for it by the game. I think fairly so. Didn't affect the result anyway because I was about 2 seconds in front of the guys behind after they crashed. But like I said, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed that one. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I shall see you in the next one.